How's it going, Laser Bursters up? I'll be Sixkilla and welcome back to Tokyo Dark. It is time to wrap up maybe the last of the endings that we can get to with ease from where we're at. I feel like we've done a pretty good run and we've hit most of, well, all the really important endings. The ending that is the true ending, I guess, which was the Mask Bearer one we did last. The cat ending, which was the secret ending, and the purification ending, which was the, looked like it's going to be the good ending, but turned out to be the really bad ending. I've just said the word ending like 50 times. Let's just jump back into save number 6, shall we, and see where we can go from here. I'll cut back to where new stuff happens. Alright, we are back. It's time to confront Rainer, and this time, that's exactly what we're doing. Instead of becoming the Mask Bearer, we're going to fight Rainer, I guess. So you went away, huh? Anyway, huh? Even though I told you to leave me alone? Why couldn't you just forget and leave me alone? Ah, so that's it. You want to keep hurting me, right? I hate to burst your bubble, but if it's revenge you're after, it won't work. Nope. Can't blow my brains out here. The dark won't let you. Oh, did I hurt your feelings? Did you bring your little gun all the way down here for nothing? Are you disappointed? I didn't bring it. There's no point. I didn't shoot you when you took Tanaka, and I won't now. Don't try and trick me. That doesn't mean you don't want to. After everything I tried, to think that you would be the one to show up here in the end. Funny, isn't it? Isn't it? After all, you were only supposed to be the guest star on my little show. A little temporary addition to liven things up a bit. Then you kept showing up uninvited, digging up every sharp thing you could find to poke me with. Now I can't get rid of you, see? It is funny, right? No matter what we do, we're forced together again. We gotta make the best of it. You're right, we can't avoid each other forever. Fate's forced us together, so all we can do is see it through to the end. Even when I saw you in the forest, you were down here, weren't you? Where else? Welcome to the end of the line. I don't understand, it's awful down here. Why didn't you try and get back to the surface? Why would I go back? What would be the point? When I do, I look around, I don't even recognize it anymore. The streets are different, the sounds have changed, everyone I knew and ever cared about is gone. You don't know what it's like. Every day the same feeling. All my old pain again and again and again. People don't change. No matter what. No matter how much time goes. They all still look at me like I'm a flea-bitten dog to be kicked around and ignored. They hate me. In the end, I'll end up back here anyway, so why fight it? At least down here nothing changes. When I was little, they said everything would be okay if I had the mask. But then Mummy died, and the police took it away from me, and nothing's gone right since. No one ever cared about me. The police, the foster homes, the other girls in the agency, they all hated me. They wanted me dead. You're just like the rest of them. Only someday you'll grow old and die, and I'll still be here, unless you give me that mask. It isn't that simple. Having the mask isn't going to solve your problems. It is that simple. Everyone always tells me it can't be simple, but why not? None of this would have happened if it weren't for you. If you'd just given it to me in the first place, you could have lived your stupid little fantasy life. Instead, you had to be the hero and get involved in something that was none of your business. Why shouldn't I use it? Are my problems not as important as yours? That's it, isn't it? Everything's about you and making your life happy again. I won't let you be happy, I won't. If you won't help me, then fine, but I'll keep hurting you. And if you think it's bad now, you don't know the half of it. Or you could give it to me and go on pretending to be happy, while I find the door again. Again? You've seen it before? I don't know exactly what you think is going to happen when you find it, but everything I've found tells me it's dangerous. No, you're wrong, the door isn't for you. The collector said so. He said if I had the mask, I could find it again. He said if I found a shrine belonging to Kawana, that I could find it. So you met him too? Rainer, he wasn't trying to help us. He must have been toying with us. Shut up, you don't know anything. He told me the mask would let me see the door again. Just like the day Mummy died. When they put the mask on me and I kept my eyes closed like Mummy told me to. Even when people started getting sick and crying. Then I saw it, the door, even with my eyes still closed. When I looked at it, I heard Mummy's voice. And I knew if I found it, everything would be okay. I opened my eyes and it was gone. They took the mask and I saw Mummy on the ground. She wasn't moving anymore, like a doll. It was all my fault, it must have been, I did something wrong. But he told me if I found the mask, I could make it right again. Now I'm being punished for being a big screw-up, for not being pure like they told me to be. Except people like Higashi, they shouldn't have hurt me. They should have left me alone, I had to punish them. I just want to stop them from hurting me. That doesn't make me bad, right? You understand, don't you? The funny thing is that if Tanaka was here, he'd understand. Even after everything you did to him. That's the kind of guy he is. Rainer, it's not all your fault. This is beyond you, it always has been. That's why Tanaka was so intent on following you from the start. You weren't just some orphan girl. He somehow saw the darkness that was behind you. If only he had told me, I could have been there for him, helped him. But no, You could have helped me, Ayami. He was helping me. He was gonna save me. Then why? If he was helping you, why hurt him? I didn't want to hurt Tanaka, but it was the only way to bring him here. The same way I was brought here. I thought I'd figure it out, but my white knight abandoned me, went somewhere else. Turns out it was just a stupid idea from a stupid girl. What you did to Tanaka was wrong, but you can still make this right. You brought him down here with you that night. Where is he? I don't know where he is. Just tell me what happened from the beginning. It's hard to remember. Please try. Nothing's gone the way I thought it would. When I went back to Shinjuku, I remembered how I ended up in the dark. I knew what I had to do to Tanaka so Tanaka could be with me. Only the mask wasn't awake. It wasn't loud like in Kamakura. So I made you come into the tunnel with me and Tanaka so we could wake up. Then I slit his throat and went back to the dark and waited. Tanaka woke up down there too, but the mask was gone. He was alive? He was like me. Or I thought he was. At first he seemed okay, but then he started wandering around, staring into space and talking to people who weren't there. Poor Tanaka, I think I broke him, Ayami-chan. So he was down here. Tell me where he is. You don't get it, do you? I don't know where he is, and I don't care. Tanaka abandoned me. Even when he was here, he kept mumbling on and on about how he was going to help you. He gave you something, didn't he? That traitor. How else would you be able to keep finding me? He even said he saw the door, but he didn't take me there. I hate him. Why did he leave me? To think Tanaka would help a stupid girl like me. It was dumb to try and bring him here. The collector said I'd find the door with the mask. I just didn't want to be alone is all. Now you're here, so I guess the mask is too. I didn't need him after all. He's gone. You're wrong, I can feel him somewhere here. He's waiting for me. You can? Maybe he's at the door. Please take me there, don't leave me. The mask opened the dark and took me straight to Reina. And now that I'm here, I can feel it, pulsing like a heartbeat. The door, the unknowable place where chance and fate have no importance. That's where Kazuki is. I know what will happen if I lead her there. She'll get what she truly wants. She'll get to rest and finally be free. No more pain. No more suffering. Maybe that's what Kazuki would have wanted, but if I do that, the dark would change shape again, and any hope of finding him would be lost. He'd be trapped here waiting for me, and I'd never be able to tell him the truth, behind everything he suffered for. That's if the Kazuki Tanaka that's left here is the same man I love. Either way, I have to abandon someone, but it's my responsibility. I have to choose. Alright, let's save Reina. Please don't hurt me. What I did to Tanaka, it was the only way. You get it, right? Right? No, you're wrong, but then again, maybe there isn't a right way to begin with. In your own way, you're the same as me. Grasping at whatever you could. You may still be down here, like you said. Would the Tanaka I find be the real him, though? If I used the mask, would I be the real me? I'm not so sure anymore. You're really not going to go after him? No, I have to give up even more of myself. Succumb even more to this darkness. He wouldn't have wanted that. You know, for a long time your face was all I saw. Ever since Kamakura. It motivated me to push through my sadness because I thought I was doing something good. Putting my problems behind me and becoming a hero and slaying some ancient evil. You became a demon. A symbol of all my hatred. Of everything bad that had happened to me that day. No, I'm not. I'm not a demon. No, you're not. You're just a girl. Always were. Besides, I'm no hero. I'm not sure if there is such a thing. I realize that now. Me, you, Tanaka, all three of us were just paper dolls caught in a storm, being blown by winds that were so far out of our control. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for any of it to happen. I just wanted a way out. I wanted to be normal. Tanaka was one of the smartest detectives, no, one of the smartest people I knew. I think he knew what would happen to him. Maybe that's why he's so distant. I wish things had played out differently for us, and for you, Reina. I know what happened to you, all of it. I don't know how I saw those things, but I can't just ignore them. No one deserves to experience what you did, Reina. Every day you lived in hell with no love or light. It was awful. We failed you, and I'm sorry. I forgive you, Reina. It hurts to say it. It's selfish, isn't it? I can't forget the pain you caused me despite how hard I try, but I do forgive you. Because somewhere along the way, this horrible cycle has to end. I don't want to hurt people anymore. Then come with me. Let me help you. Why? Where are we going? To the door. You said you heard your mum, right? Let's go see her. I'm scared. What if she isn't there? What if I was wrong? It's okay, there's nothing to be afraid of. You can rest like you always wanted. No more coming back. No more hurting people. Though I can't tell you what's waiting for you, I know it's better than this. I promise. Ayami, do you think it'll hurt? No. How do you know? I don't know how, but the dark responds to the feelings of the people in it. Every time we butt heads, it pushed me out. It feels different now. It feels peaceful. What I'm trying to say is, I don't want to hurt you, Reina. I only want to help, and I think the dark will too. Okay, I'm ready. Thank you, Ayami. I don't know why you helped me, but thank you. For years, Reina searched for the door. The whole time it was nearby, hidden by a thick darkness that shifted in reaction to her own hatred and fear. The mask began to tug at me as if guiding us, and together, hand in hand, it appeared in front of us. I wasn't sure how I hadn't noticed it before. It was like it had always been there. Until that moment, I'd never even noticed how small and truly fragile she was. Standing in front of the door, she shook like a leaf. Squeezing her hand, I reassured her, told her that I forgave her, knowing that if she took a step forward, it would all be over and she'd find peace. I thought maybe I would too. For a long time she stood, saying nothing, then eventually she let go of my hand and moved through the door, and as soon as she did, her image began to fade. She was smiling. Not the unhinged smile from my past, but her true smile. The smile of a little girl. It's that smile, free of hate and malice, I remember now. The dark remained ever after she left, though it began to change as I remained within it, suddenly agitated and expansive like it was growing. Somehow I knew that what little light I saw was because of Reina. Her fear and hatred diffused out of the shadows. Thanks to the light, I was able to find the surface. The mask didn't quiet after Reina's passing, and every day it became more restless. One day I cast it into the sea near Kamakura, and despite the Kawana woman's warning, it never returned to me, though occasionally I can still feel it, scratching like a pin needle on the back of my skull. When the girl faded, other memories did too. Impressions of a man called Kazuki Tanaka, and a love we once shared. I find pictures in my apartment that I know are him, yet all I see is the face of a stranger looking at me. Some nights I wake up with tears in my eyes, an image of that face crying out to me from some dark corner of my dreams, and I desperately try to remember why that memory remains. Yet something about those pictures and staying in that apartment feels familiar, even if I can't make sense of it some days. All I remember for sure is Reina's smile, knowing that in those final moments, she forgave me for what I did to her. Finally, I was able to feel peace. Not a bad ending, although I imagine the dark is going to destroy the world again, just like last time, but, you know. The immediacy was nice, but later on it's probably going to be bad. Alright, we'll cut ahead to the talk, and then into the next ending. Interesting, most interesting. You're nothing but a crow feeding on the carrion that time leaves in its wake. Forgive me for not being an impartial spectator of human suffering. The woman had her own desires. I only gave her a little push. I thought you'd be happy. You'd have found forgiveness through the context of her suffering by drowning herself in the past. A historian's dream. A gesture of extraordinary kindness, yes, but history does not smile at the happiness of one. It favors the welfare of all. Time is not a single thread, but a complex tapestry, pushed and formed into a picture by the forces of fate and chance. The different threads present a myriad of truths, but all an aspect of the same visage nonetheless. A myriad, interesting. I would have thought one so interested in history would adhere to a single truth. On the contrary, if history has taught me anything, it is that there is no one truth. The deeper one gazes, the more complex it becomes. Yes, all are truth. All grant insight into the same puzzle. You're right, my old friend. Time is a spiral, and observe it long enough, and we may yet learn something. No, she is not your plaything. It is not your decision. There is only one way this can end, and one way for the world to remain intact and stop the thing that's coming. It must be protected. The role must be performed. Stubborn, so stubborn. Allow me to ask you a question. I believe I know it already. You've asked it before. Indulge me. I asked you the same question. If the dancing puppet looks up and sees its strings, does it remain a puppet? What a fate and chance then. I answer your riddle with one of my own. You see, the storm cloud's approaching, and though you can take shelter or alter your course, does the storm not come regardless? Ha, no fun, you've never tolerated my philosophical side. Nor you me when I was telling you how things are. I suppose it's because we're one and the same. But what of her? All we can do is see, but eventually she will end up there. There is only one path which will hold the world together. And cut forward. Okay, we are back and it is time to leave Reina and save Tanaka this time. All three, I believe, of the next endings all stem from the same path, so we'll be able to cut a lot of the dialogue. But let's leave Reina and save Tanaka. I don't know if I'm a good person or not. At least if I can find Tanaka, I can do something to help for once. One good thing. What are you saying? I can't save you, Reina, but maybe I can save him. So you'll leave me here after all? I'm sorry, Reina. You can't. Tanaka said he'd help me. He believed me. You have to believe me too. Help me, please. He wanted you to help me. That's why he led you here. Maybe he did, or maybe he was scared like we all are. I couldn't say. Either way, if I don't try and help him, then what was all this for? Why did I suffer like this? Someday I hope you find your answers. I don't want you to suffer, really, but Tanaka doesn't have a chance if I don't go find him now. Goodbye, Reina. Wait, Ayami! I was right about you. I was right. You don't care about me. Ayami? Ayami? Please don't leave me here. Please? Now we have to enter the door, don't we? And with that, we have to put the mask on. I did all there was to do. I walked away from her and didn't look back. I could feel her eyes on me. The light was affected by her misery, and I knew that leaving her there would deepen the shadows. I was too late to atone for what I did to her, and someday I knew I'd come face to face punishment for it. I truly wanted to help her, but I couldn't ignore Kazuki's presence within that darkness. Kazuki, he's so close. Up and down, shadow and light, there's nothing here to orient myself. All I can do is stumble forward. I can still feel the door, but there's something else alongside it. Kazuki, I can't hear him or see him. But he's there, like a memory coming to me, coming to my head all on its own. Yet, I can't see the door or anything else through this darkness. What if I'm trapped down here forever? Lost like Reina and Tanaka? No, there is a way. The only way to pierce this darkness on my own, but I'm scared to do it. A tool forged in blood, and bending my mind to its breaking point has become my last chance to move forward. The historian said the mask bearer could see the door. But I'm not the mask bearer. If I wear it, I would have to accept the consequences. Touching it alone almost drove me mad. What strain would wearing it put on my mind? Or could I turn back, try to find the surface, and keep what little of my sanity I have left? The choice is simple. Turn to the light, or descend deeper into the darkness. It's mask time. Smoking. Okay, that's inappropriate. Let's jump into the door, shall we? Something's changed. Memories of my childhood, feelings I had, my sense of self, ripped out of me as I entered, fading. I have to focus while I'm still me. There's someone else here. Kazuki, is it you? Stay put, I'll find you. Tanaka? Tanaka, Kazuki, is that you? Kazuki, say something. You can hear me, right? What if Reina was right? What if he's already gone? Oh god. Kazuki, please. Ito? Ayami? Ayami, why are you here? It doesn't matter. All that matters is that I heard you, and I'm here now. I can't believe it. Was it really you? What's wrong? I'm sorry, it's strange. I feel light. The memories are coming back. I'm sorry, I need a little time. I think I remember. Ayami, how are you here? You shouldn't be here. No, I probably shouldn't, but I came for you. The way I got here, I can't remember it now. Ayami, she didn't... No, I came here on my own, but I had to leave her in the dark. I'm sorry, it was selfish, but it was the only way to find you. That poor thing, I'm sorry to put you through all that. It must have been hard on you. Ayami, I can't remember clearly. I have to know what happened that night in the sewer. Why were you there? You know why I was there. I was looking for you. But it was a trap, and I fell right into it. Maybe you think I'm a fool, but I was desperate. There she was, a girl I'd shot before. And you, so helpless with a bag over your head. My head was swimming, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't shoot her, so I watched her as she slit your throat. I let you die. I doubt I could have done any better in your shoes. What's wrong? Is it true? Is what true? That you went with her willingly? That you gave her the mask? Kazuki, I have to know. Did you know what would happen? It's true, but not how you say. I saw her, a girl surrounded by an impossible darkness, who'd I'd obsessed over before her death. And she was alive somehow, still wanting my help, so I went with her. I thought I'd found truth, real truth, the kind of truth that tells us why we're here. I didn't tell you because I'd convinced myself that it would protect you. Faced with the impossible, I dived straight in, without thinking of anyone else, or what the consequences would be. Now that we're here in this place, I don't think I have it in me. Maybe I should be, but then I'd have to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Over the last few weeks, I've been grasping at straws in a world I didn't understand, that I didn't even know existed. All because Reina shattered everything I thought I knew. Step by step, I went after her, trying to figure out how some poor girl could be the focal point of everything that didn't make sense in my life. My mind raced when I saw her alive that night. Suddenly, the doors of possibility opened wide and my world was no longer in my control. Then she slit your throat as I watched and did nothing. I couldn't accept that you were gone, and I couldn't sit around and wait for the puzzle to solve itself. We didn't solve it, did we? All those formless shapes aren't any more solid now. No, but maybe that wasn't the point. What do you mean? Maybe we're not meant to know what it all means. Yet here we are, trying to change something that can't be changed. The mask in a shape-shifting darkness. They were made by people who wanted control over the unknown. People like us, who were confronted with a mystery they had to solve. Fate and chance, life and death, the march of time, having control over them is an illusion. When I stand here with you, I understand that now. Guess that makes us lousy detectives, huh? Were we ever that good to begin with? I got myself kidnapped and you were dumb enough to follow me. Thanks, Ayami. All those mysteries suddenly pale in comparison to the thought of having another day in our drafty apartment. Yeah, it was you who called to me, wasn't it? That night in the sewer. I don't remember. Everything since then is hazy. I wandered aimlessly. I was so tired and my body was so heavy. I started hearing other voices and seeing shapes in the darkness. Formless things that felt like people I desperately wanted to see, telling me everything would be alright if I kept moving toward them. People I haven't seen in a long time. One day I saw my mother and she told me she missed me and to keep walking through the door and beyond. Did I ever tell you about my mother? She died when you were 15. She couldn't have been here. Still, I heard her like I can hear you now. Kazuki, what have we gotten ourselves into? I don't know, but I'm glad we're in it together. We made a hell of a team, didn't we? Following each other into the other's messes. What I'm trying to say is, Kazuki, you okay? I'm fine, don't worry about me. How about you? It's nothing serious. That's never happened before, it must be reacting to you. Ayami, thank you for finding me, but you can't stay here. What are you saying? Neither can you, that's why I'm here, right? Thank you for coming for me. It makes me happy to see you. Happier than you know. I love you. Stop talking like that, you can save it for when we're back. Ayami, stop, I'm saying it because I may never have another chance. When I finally arrived at the door, I felt a warmth. Something told me, if I kept walking, all the pain and uncertainty I felt would go away. Then why didn't you? Because I was waiting for you. Somehow I knew you were coming for me and I wanted to see you and have one last self-centered moment. Last? No, stop saying that. You're the one who isn't supposed to be here. Can't you see that? It wasn't supposed to turn out this way. Tell me why you can't come back with me. Why I'm sorry, I feel a little dizzy. When I was lost in the dark, every time I moved forward, a piece of me was left in my footsteps, and all I could feel was fear, until I reached the door and everything faded away. Ever since you've arrived, I remembered who I was, all my happiness and joy, but all my suffering and doubt as well. And if I kept walking away from the door, maybe I'd forget it for good. All those things that make us human can't be here. If you stay, you'll fade away, Ayami. So many people told me that being with you was a mistake, and that I should find some normal girl to settle down with. But the normal girls didn't understand me. They didn't make me better. I chose right. I wouldn't be who I am without you. But you would be nothing if you stay here. Kazuki, No, there has to be a way. You said it yourself. This place is beyond our control. So you're giving up? After all this suffering, after everything I went through? It's not the man I love. That's this place. Ayami, I want nothing more than to come back with you, but I know that if I leave, I won't be whole. The longer you stay here, the more it will destroy who you are. You have to turn back. Maybe he's right. Maybe this is the end of the road. I guess Reina was right after all. This place changed you. At least for now I can talk to you, see you again, and tell you that I tried. There isn't much time. I can feel myself being torn apart. Returning to the surface is the only chance I have of saving myself. It's time. Bring him home. You have to go. Silly Kazuki. Always trying to be noble and steal the spotlight. We're in it together, no matter how bad it gets. That's our one promise to each other from the start. Stick it out when things get tough. This is different. I won't sit here and watch you fall apart. Stop talking down to me like I don't get it. I've seen everything you have. More even. I'll admit, you're right. I don't fully understand what's going on. For the last few weeks, I've been clutching at whatever shreds of truth I could find, not knowing if I could really believe any of it. I have a feeling when you're investigating her, you've come across impossible things like I did. The thing is, you're just as lost as me. Neither of us is going to make sense of anything if we stay here. The only thing left for us here is death. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. It's obvious what you think, but Kazuki, I want us to live. If I leave here, I might not be myself. No one will believe you. That's true. Nothing's going to be the same. But I can think of worse possibilities. Staying in this place is what hurt Reina and destroyed her mind. That poor thing. I won't let it happen to you. Taking you up to the light is a risk I'm willing to take. If I left you, I'd regret it for the rest of my life. And I won't have a life, or even a chance of one if I stay here. You're not wrong. We've both given up something even by being here. But that doesn't mean we should give up. You trust me, right? I wouldn't have waited if I didn't. Oh, my head. We don't have much time. Let's go. What are you waiting for? Ayami, I'm scared. I didn't want to admit it, but I am. I'm terrified. The only certainty I've had since I got here is that the further I go, the more I forget. That's why I stayed put. I'm scared too. No matter what I've become, you'll promise to stay with me? Always. No matter what? No matter what. Come on. We have to go. Let's escape this nightmare. Okay, but what if... whatever tomorrow brings, we'll deal with it then. One step at a time. Besides, you always said what if isn't good enough for a detective. Using my own words against me. You chose me because you knew I wouldn't accept the easy way out. Well, I suffered too much to accept this as my ending. That night in the sewer, that was the last time I felt like myself, until now, I guess. Then we'll find out what's next together. It'll be okay, I promise. Okay. Come on, let's go. Together we returned to the door, and as I emerged, I remember gasping, as if coming up for air after being submerged for a long time. As the breath escaped me, a piece of me went with it. A piece I can't qualify or name was lost to that place, its toll taken. I never felt right after leaving. Trudging onwards, we heard sobbing in the hollow spaces, echoing off the walls, and as they continued, the shadows lost all definition, and everything turned to an inky darkness. I talked to Kazuki as I walked, but as we neared the surface, his speech turned to murmurs, then whispers, and eventually nothing. Eventually I dragged him to the light, his eyes lost in some distant dream. After that day, Kazuki never spoke again. He lay in bed, his eyes glazed over, looking into a world that I couldn't see. After the door, the memories I had of his murder and kidnapping became mine alone, and the world continued as if they never happened. To everyone else, he just suffered some sort of accident. For his sake, I cast the mask into the sea near Kamakura, and despite the warnings I received, it never returned to me. I could still feel it occasionally, scratching at the back of my mind like a needle. Several months after returning, Mai and her grandmother were found dead, stabbed to death in the shrine that they tended. They never found a suspect, Raina. After leaving the dark, I had trouble remembering things. My parents, my time in the police, my childhood. I see pictures and can feel impressions, but the images won't appear. Things became more confusing and more erratic, so I stay home with Tanaka. Some nights I wake up in a cold sweat, afraid, and I don't know why. But at least we're together. I promised him we would be. Man, what a shitty ending. That's another one that seemed like it could have been a good ending, but is a shitty ending. We'll bring you back for the conversation and, well, the new bits of the conversation, and then on to the next one. We've got a couple more to do yet in this episode. And what exactly did that push achieve? Her desires led her after that man. For love or for the truth? Or perhaps some sense of obligation? Alas, a piece of her left behind in the dark in exchange for her continued existence on this earth. Is it not interesting what the drive to survive brings us? In the tale of Izanagi, he was told not to look back as he left the underworld. For once, one does all that awaits them. What that awaits them is the knowledge of death. A human mistake. An inevitable one. Fitting, don't you think? And yet the world continues to tear itself apart. And that's the old stuff again. So I will cut here, and I'll bring you back for the next ending, which will be in the dark already, with Tanaka. We'll do one of the other ones. Alright, we're back with Tanaka, and it's time to pick our next option. This time we're going to stay in the darkness with him. That actually seems like a better option than bringing him home. That turned out really, really bad. Although the last option, which we're going to do next, seems really bad. Leave him and save yourself. Kazuki, I won't leave you. You have to. You can't take me back, and the only way for you to get back to the surface is to go, and now. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. Ayami, don't be stupid. Stupid? Every day since Reina sent you here, the dark has been seeping into my existence and drawing me toward it. So I followed its pull. And when I did, I heard you calling to me. Then everything fell apart. I was kicked off the police force. My friends abandoned me. I couldn't even keep track of what was real. So I chose to run towards the dark, and everything I feared most, despite every instinct telling me not to find you. Ayami, when I chose to go through that door, I gave up a piece of myself. I feel like the only reason I remember what I am is because you're here with me. Now that I'm standing here, I'm not afraid anymore. Ayami, you have to understand, I haven't been able to remember myself for a long time. If we stay here, this won't be our reality. We'll both fade to nothing. Everyone has to face death, Kazuki. Before, when you said you wanted to forget the world above, I was hurt, but I think I understand it now. Every day I lifted my feet and trudged onward, not really knowing why. And now that we're together, I get it. We've suffered enough, Tanaka. I wanted to be with you, so let's forget the world together. You can't expect me to let you throw your life away. I won't let you. Won't let me. Since when have you been able to stop me? This is different. What exactly do you think you're saving me from? My life unraveled? Half of my friends think I killed you, and the only thing that would be left for me is a mental hospital or prison. No, that's no way to live. My mind's made up. Stubborn as always, huh? Of course. Wouldn't be me if I wasn't. Can't argue with you there. To be honest, part of me wanted this. It's selfish, I know, but I was scared. Once I passed through the door, I didn't want to continue, even though every bone in my body told me to. But fear always held me back. I'm sorry, Ayami, for leading you here. For everything. If that was your idea of leading me, you didn't do a very good job. No, Kazuki, I came here by myself, and I don't regret a second of it, even if it didn't turn out like we hoped. And as terrible as the past few weeks are, we saw something, part of the mystery that everybody desperately wishes to see. Now we get to go to the next step, wherever that is, together, knowing for certain that there's more to it. Guess that makes us some of the lucky ones. You're really not scared? A little. No, that's wrong, I am. A lot. I'm really scared. But I'm not scared of this place. Just of what I don't know. There's still a chance for you to turn back. I wonder what I gave up already by coming down here. Raina, that poor girl, her mind was broken by trying to reconcile that world and this one. I can't return only to become lost for the rest of my life. So what now? It's easy, really. You start walking. Here, take my hand. Promise not to let go? I promise. Well, Tanaka, we've really gotten ourselves in the deep end now, huh? Let's find out what happens next. Together. So we did the only thing there was to. We walked forward, hand in hand. As the door gets further away, so do my memories of the world beyond it. Faces and places that I saw so recently felt like a lifetime ago. No one knows what happens next. But at least we're together. Are we the mask bearers still, though? And what did your push lead to? Oblivion in the darkness with what was left of that poor man? But is it not noble? Her desires led her to chase after him for love or for the truth. Perhaps it was out of some sense of noble obligation. It doesn't matter. What of those left behind? At what cost was her peace granted? And that's it. Alright, I'll cut to the next one. The last one. For this episode, anyway. Alright, it's time for the last and probably most despicable choice. Leave him and save yourself. Kazuki, I can't stay here. I know. You don't have to say anything. You can't stay here and I can't leave. Guess that only leaves one option then, huh? Don't worry about me. Now that you've said it, and it's out in the open, I feel at peace. My choices led me to this, but that doesn't mean you deserve to suffer. Besides, you've got your whole life ahead of you, so many adventures left to have. I can accept that. Kazuki, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. No, Ayami, you've got nothing to be sorry about. Not after everything I put you through. Don't apologize for saving yourself. It's not that. You're wrong, I do have to apologize. If not for now, then for before. When you were going after Rainer, I didn't take you seriously. I thought you were going crazy chasing after some orphan girl. It wasn't like you at all, so I ignored it. In a way, it's my fault you got here in the first place. If I'd noticed the obvious signs that you were in trouble and helped you, maybe we could have helped her too. Damn it, I really am useless, aren't I? Ayami, you don't honestly believe that, do you? I meant what I said before. We chose each other for a reason. Because you understood me better than I thought anyone ever could. Why are you bringing this up now? You always understood what made me tick. You made me better by never accepting it, the easy answer. I didn't tell you what I found because I knew you'd follow me, and I'd drag you down with me. So let me be useful to you, for once, and let you off the hook. Maybe it'd be easy to stay here with me, but you're not about the easy answer. Never was very good at leaving you alone. That's true. Ever regret it? Choosing me, I mean? Nope. You? I only had my doubts when you forgot to buy the coffee. What? I had to keep you on your toes somehow. It's strange, isn't it? Talking so normally in a place like this. Oh, my head. I can't stay down here much longer. I know. Look at us. We can't do anything right, can we? Nope. Business as usual for us. Always running headfirst into things that we didn't even know how it would turn out. It's a wonder we ever got anything done at all. What happens to you? Doesn't matter. That night in the sewer, I was never the same after that. With you coming through that door, that's the first time I've ever felt like the old me in a long time. This could never be anything other than a goodbye, as much as I don't want it to be. Ugh. We'll see each other again, one way or another. At least I found you. I'm glad I got to see you. I can't promise I won't stop searching for this place, for what it all means. Guess I should have expected that from the great Ayami Ito. Promise me you'll make a life when you get out of here. Be happy. I'll try. You have to go. I know. Just let me stay a little longer. Okay. I love you. I love you too. Through all the dark times I had, you're always my light, my rock. When you disappeared, I was worried I'd never get to tell you that. Kazuki, it's the time for me to go. Until next time. Wherever you end up, you'll wait for me, right? You know it. Thank you for everything, Ayami. Goodbye. I stood glued to the ground in that impossible place for a long time, taking in Tanaka's face one last time. Once I turned around, I never looked back, ignoring every instinct in my body. Tanaka remained silent. The man I met beyond the door was a shade, a distant memory of a man I once loved, but who was taken away from me in the sewers under Shinjuku. Leaving was the only way to honor him, and to try and make something new on top of the foundation of the life we'd built together. As I emerged from the door, I gasped, as if the air had returned to my lungs after being submerged for a long time. Trudging toward the surface, I heard quiet sobbing in the hollow spaces echoing off the walls, as they continued and the shadows lost definition. turning into shapeless, inky blackness. Finally, I reached the surface. But I was never the same after that day. Little pieces of my past began to slip away. My childhood, memories of my parents, my time in the police. Will I forget him too? Some nights I wake out in a cold sweat, feeling terrified that something is coming and I don't know why. Several months after returning, my and her grandmother were found dead, stabbed to death in the shrine they tended. They never found a suspect. I eventually cast the mask into the sea near Kamakura, and despite the warnings I received, it never returned to me. I can still feel it occasionally, scratching at the back of my mind like a needle. Even when I feel my own foundations beginning to give way, I carry on to keep the promises I made to him. I'll keep trying. For Tanaka. Rightio. We'll see what they have to say at the end there, but that is going to be the last episode, or the last ending for this episode, and probably the last episode. There's only like 2 or so endings I haven't done, but they will involve playing through the entire game again from scratch, pretty much. So I'm not going to do that unless you really, really want me to. Make sure you let me know down in the description if you really, really want me to. But I think we've seen most of what there is to be seen, and we've done the most important endings. And some of the less important endings. A lot of them are very similar anyway. But yeah. I'm not too sure how many we have missed. I don't think there's many though, maybe 2? We'll see what they have to say and then we'll wrap it up. What exactly did that push achieve? Her desires led her after that man, for love or for the truth, perhaps some sense of obligation. Alas, a piece of her left behind in the dark in exchange for her continued existence on this earth. Is it not interesting? What the drive to survive brings us? And the tale of Izanagi was told not to look back as he left the underworld. For once, one does all that awaits them, is the knowledge of death. A human mistake, an inevitable one. Fitting, don't you think? And yet the world continues to tear itself apart. And that is it. That is Tokyo Dark. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That was a pretty amazing game, actually. I am blown away. The story was very, very dark and depressing, and there was no way there was going to be a happy ending to this. But I appreciate that. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks again, out for me, and I'll see you in the next one.